Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. It is finally Tuesday. Now, I told you guys last week that I had a deck I wanted to build, and it was only going to happen if I got the cards in time. Well, I'm filming this one ahead of time, too, because while I was doing that, I sort of had, like, one of those, like, I'm not going to say shower thought, because I'm just sort of sitting there playing Skyrim, but, like, you have one of those relaxed mind thoughts, and you just come up with something that's really cool. Bases off the same key card. We're going to be using the Clockwork Knight spell card today. And just came up with a really cool idea. So today I'm going to interrupt myself with the other really cool idea because I like it. It's a Cyber Dragon deck. Now, it's been a little bit since I've done one of these, and recently I gave one to a friend. So, like, this is a great idea for my friend Tyler to go ahead and upgrade his deck. But let's get it. So it's going to start off with 3 copies of Cyber Dragon, because we definitely need that for the name and some of the strategies. And then we're going to develop into 3 copies of Core. So the way Core works is when normal summoned, you can add 1 Cyber spell or trap card from the deck to the hand. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you could choose to banish this in the graveyard to special summon a Cyber Dragon from the deck. You can only use one of these effects per turn and only once that turn, and the name is Cyber Dragon when on the field or the graveyard. Again, common trope with these is that they all change their name. This is definitely one of our starters. We're also going to pack 2 copies of Hares. Hares is going to be a nice little 1-star, Hunter by Hunter. Name becomes Cyber Dragon Field Grave. You can only use one of the following effects, or sorry, you can only use, I said that right. One of the following effects per turn and only once that turn. So it's another hard once per turn. You got to pick and choose. If this one gets special summoned, you can make this card's level become 5 until the end of the turn. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except machines. Or secondly, if this is sent to the graveyard, you can add another Cyber Dragon from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So again, good card. Good card. And remember, everybody who's in the grave is technically Cyber Dragon, so even if they are like Hares, Core, or the next one, Noster, they're all legal targets when they're in the graveyard. Again, we're going to be using 1 copy of Noster. Again, just kind of brilliant. Name is Cyber Dragon when field grave. You can discard 1 other monster to special summon this from the hand. If this is normal or special summoned, target a machine with 2100 attack or defense in the graveyard. Special summon that one as well. You cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except machines. Each effect is once per turn. But again, this does allow you to go ahead into the base Cyber Dragon, and again, some of the extra deck cards as well. So again, Noster, not terrible. Going into some tech-ish cards, we're going to grab ourselves 2 copies of Galaxy Soldier. For those of you in the know, we want to get a bunch of level 5 machines. Lets us go Nova Infinity. Galaxy Soldier, you can send 1 other light from your light attribute monster card from hand to grave to special summon this in defense mode. When is special summoned, you can add 1 Galaxy monster from the deck to the hand. Each effect is once per turn, or you can only use this effect once per turn. And that would be the adding the extra card. So again, we play 2 of them. First one could grab the second one. In a pinch, you could go ahead and discard 2 cards from your hand to go and start moving. Next, we're going to be using 2 copies of Jizukuru, the Star Destroying Kaiju. Forget that whole block of text. The only thing you need to know is tribute an opponent's monster, special summon it to their side. This allows us to offboard some heavy-hitting threats, some things that'll have effects that'll stop us from going off. The big punchline is it's a machine. So we got something for this. If you guys are familiar with Cyberstyle, you guys already know what's happening. We're also going to pack some hand traps. I'm going to go with 2s today. So I want to go 2 Ash Blossom, and I want to start using 2 Droll and Lockbird. Again, Droll is almost as generically good as Ash is. Droll will stop the opponent from adding stuff. So let's just go ahead and get you a read. If a cards is added from the main deck to the opponent's hand, except during the draw step, as a quick effect, you can send this from the hand to the grave. For the remainder of the turn, cards cannot be added to from either player's main deck to the hand. So again, that's good. It doesn't matter. Draw effects will stop it, or will get stopped by it. a bunch of other things too, like Pot of Duality, anything that's like an excavate and add. As long as it's getting brought from the deck to the hand, it will be stopped. Moving into actual spells now. We kind of want to keep our like oppression going, so we're going to keep our 1 copy Called by the Grave in there. We're going to immediately scoot to 3 copies of Cyber Emergency. So this will allow you to add either 1 light machine that cannot be normal summoned or set, or 1 Cyber Dragon monster card from the deck to the hand. If the activation of this is negated by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can discard a card to add this back to your hand. You can only activate 1 copy per turn. And because it does say Cyber Dragon in quotes monster, this one does actually work for the whole archetype, because it's not just calling out Cyber Dragon itself. I know the wording is a little weird, but I promise you that is the ruling. Cyber Repair Plant, we're going to run 1. If Cyber Dragon is in the graveyard, you can activate 1 of these effects. If you have 3 or more, activate them in sequence. First effect, add a light machine from the deck to the hand. Again, this won't matter. This can even grab Jizakuru and or our Galaxy Soldier, because remember, even though he's a soldier, he is a machine first and foremost. Second effect would be to target a light machine in the graveyard and shuffle it back into your deck. This is good if like you need to for like a machine dupe or something. It's good stuff. Next up, we're going to be using the Cyber Rev system. So special summon 1 Cyber Dragon from the hand or graveyard. It cannot be destroyed by card effects. Again, this is pretty good. While they're in the discard pile, just about everybody is considered to be Cyber Dragon. So we could do some shenanigans. We can like pull back Nova that maybe got destroyed, and then still go into the Xyz Evolution and step up to the Infinity off of it, which is good. It's good stuff. A little bit out of order, but I'm here to flex some Clockwork Knights. You're going to want to run 3. All face-up monsters on the field change their typing to machine. Machine monsters that I control will gain 500 attack and defense. The machines my opponent controls will lose 500 attack and defense. So it starts a nice little separation real quick. Had I owned these when I was doing the Gadget deck, these and the Morganite spells actually would have been great in that build. The additional, you can banish this from the graveyard, then discard 1 card, add an Earth Machine. We don't need to bother about that. That effect is a once per turn effect. We're never going to use it. What we're doing is changing everybody to machines and causing an imbalance. I'll give you a little bit more on that here in a second. Next up, some tech stuff. You are going to want 2 droplets. It's just good stuff. You are going to want 2 lightning storms because it's good stuff. You are going to want to play 1 copy of Machine Dupe. And I know this feels weird, but I promise you I'm going to make this make sense soon. Next up, and this is crazy. This card goes crazy in this deck because Clockwork Knight is in here. We're going to be playing 3 copies of Super Poly. Super Poly is just going to do all the things we need it to do. You discard a card, fusion summon a fusion monster from the extra deck using monsters from anywhere on the field as material, so we get to use our opponent's cards. There's a reason we're making them all machines. I'll share it with you here in a second. Neither player can activate cards or effects to respond to this card's activation. So, just good stuff. Next, single copy of Talent. Again, this is like when our opponent interacts with our turn. They'll have activated a monster effect during our main phase. We can activate one of the following effects. Draw 2, take 1 that they control to the end of the turn, or look at their hand and choose 1 to shuffle back. So it's either Change of Heart, Forceful Sentry, or Pot of Greed, which is goodness. Or, and most importantly, I guess, the next card, we're going to be using 2 copies of Thrust. And Phil, I want to thank you for lending these to me for now. Hopefully we can work something out. Thrust is good here. If your opponent has activated a monster effect during the turn, so they've interacted with us, we get to set a normal spell trap directly from our deck, except same name. Or if our opponent controls a monster, we can add it to our hand instead. The set card cannot be activated this turn. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. Let's talk. So, generally speaking, especially if we go second, our opponents probably will have a monster on the field when they interact with us on our turn. So for the most part, we're going to add that card directly to our hand. It is a normal spell. Can we talk about normal spells real quick? All those cyber cards across the top are normal spells. That machine duplication is a normal spell, and tactics is a normal spell. So being able to just search out any of these, this is like having 3 of any of those spells, making sure that we get them without actually having to play to 3. So it doesn't matter if I start with the dupe or you interact with me, I can get to dupe. Same thing with tactics. If I need talent, I can just go grab talent. If I need any one of these, again, because that's emergency is normal, repair plant is normal, rev system is normal. All of that is searchable this way. And it's all fine. Last 2 cards of the deck, you're going to just throw 2 copies of Imperm. Okay? This is the main deck. This should be 40 cards. I counted it a couple of times. I kept getting to 40. If I'm just low by 1, add something that you like. If I'm over by 1, take one out that you don't like. Or try to 41. Again, counted this like 5 times before filming. I kept coming up with 40. I hope it's still 40. Do your thing. Pause, screenshot, notes, whatever you got to do. I'm going to be right back with an extra deck in just a moment. All right, a little bit of magic happened there. We got our deck off to the side. I don't want you guys to forget this interaction. So these cards are going to stay up here this whole time. I need you to understand we could zap everything from our opponent's side, and everything is a machine under the best of circumstances. So, starting with the fusions. I'm going straight up 3 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragons because Chimera Tech's Fortress Dragon requires Cyber Dragon and machines. We can offboard our entire opponent's side into this card, and this thing gains, 1,000 points per material? And we do not need a form of polymerization to do this. If you're not playing this at 3, I just assume that you don't own 3. It's been common, it's been super rare, it's been a bunch of different things. I do hope that you guys get these. This is key. And again, we'll be able to take every monster that's face up because every monster is considered to be a fusion. Or, sorry, not a fusion, but to be a machine. So everything is fusion material. Yeah, my deck is 39 cards. You know what I forgot, guys? 1 copy of Overload Fusion. I forgot to grab it out of my box. Give me half a second. Okay, and just for proofs, we've got 2... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 40th card was Overload Fusion. I looked at the next card in the extra deck and realized I didn't do this. You got to banish cards from your side of the field and graveyard that are materials for a Dark Machine Fusion card, then play that card. So it just allows you to banish out of the graveyard. I'm going to leave that on the top of the deck now because I just straight up forgot, dudes. I'm super sorry about that. But the next card works with it and without it. I want to talk to you guys about the Chimera Tech Overdragon. First released in the Phantom of Darkness. Great card. We're going to use this one because it's got like easier to understand text. Cyber Dragon plus 1 or more non-machine monsters. You do need a Catalyst spell. Again, Overload Fusion's a great one for the late game. Super Poly with Clockwork Knight, I can still zap up the entire field, and I can go into one of these. Now, when this is special, must be Fusion Summon, cannot be special summon any other way. When is Fusion Summon? Send all other cards you control from the field to the graveyard. So obviously you don't want to control a whole lot. This is like one of those last ditch things. You're going to be getting rid of your Clockwork Knight to do this. The original attack and defense of this becomes 800 times materials used. Each turn, this can attack opponent's monsters a number of times equal to the number of materials used. So it's not going to get like 15 direct attacks, but there is a possibility that this thing could attack like, I think 12 is the upper limits if every zone is actually full. So we can actually do Chimera Tech Overdragons off of the Super Poly or the Overload. Depends on what you need. Next card, we're going to play 1 copy Rampage Dragon again. This is more or less my target for Overload. These are in here as a Super Poly target. This will work too. This is any 2 or more Cyber Dragon monsters. Fusion can only be done with the above materials. When this is fusion summoned, target spell traps on the field equal to the number, up to the number of fusion materials used to destroy those. Once per turn, send up to 2 light machines from the deck to the graveyard, and if you do, for each monster sent, this gets an additional attack every battle phase this turn. So again, this is like one of those big, like, we could get 3 attacks out of it, which could be a game-winning scenario. If you wanted to change this deck a little bit, you could probably add in, like, what was it? Cyberdark Chimera and Power Bond would actually work nicely. Another super poly target, because we're being just silly today. Cyber Eternity. Just any Cyber Dragon monster and just 2 other machines. Again, if your opponent's got 2 monsters, you got a super poly, and you got the Clockwork Knight, you're just in business. This thing's going to be 28 by 4,000 defense, which is goofy. If you have a machine fusion monsters in the graveyard, your opponent cannot target this card with effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by opponent card effects. If this fusion summoned card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can special summon a Cyber Dragon from the hand deck or graveyard. You can banish this in your graveyard. This turn, your opponent cannot target fusion monsters you control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by the opponent's card effects. So taking its own effect and giving it to the other fusions. But again, super poly target, because Clockwork Knight said so. And then I'm going to play one off-brand one. We're going to have 1 copy Garura, the Wings of Resonant Life. This normally takes 2 monsters, same type attribute, but different names. Some archetypes like Lightsworn, they just got the same attributes. This will help us streamline the typing. Additionally, this will work for a lot of decks because of it. Any battle damage your opponent takes from battles involving this card are double. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can draw 1 card. You can only use this effect once per turn to get the extra card, but Garura is worth trying. And then again, for everybody else, you guys should know what Infinity does. Infinity can be placed over Nova, transfers materials to it, gains 200 points per material. Once per turn, you can target 1 face of attack position monster card on the field. Does not have to be your own. Attach it to this card as material. And then once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, as a quick effect, you can detach 1 material card from this, negate the activation of that effect or card, and destroy it. So again, good stuff. Nova at 2, because again, Nova is just really good. 2 level 5 machines. Again, deck is super stacked with ways to do this. Once per turn, you can detach material from this to target a Cyber Dragon monster in the graveyard. Special summon that target. Then once per turn during either player's turn, you can banish Cyber Dragon from the hand or face up on the field in a monster card zone. And this card gains 2,100 attack until the end phase. And if this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 machine-type fusion monster from your extra deck. And again, I do believe that our Eternity Dragon did not say that it needed to be fusion summoned. So that's a good way to get him out. And then since obviously we don't need to actually play him, we could just banish him to protect other cards later. Makes for a really good strategy. Other cards you could put in here for that. You could put in Barbroid Ultimate Fighting Machine. You guys could put in a Cyber Twin, a Cyber End. Honestly, whatever you like. And then since we're using Xyz, I decided we're going to go with 1 Divine Arsenal Zeus. And then last but not least, I just got 2 links in here, guys. We're using 1 copy of Seeger. It feels like it's on theme. Honestly, you guys could change this if you want to. And a lot of low monsters that we do normal summon, Al Mirage could be an extra layer of protection for you guys. This is my Cyber Dragon deck. It is now 40 cards because Overload Fusion. So I do apologize for that. I kept counting it as though this was in it, and I meant to grab it out of the box. Big mistake on my part. Luckily, I caught it. I want you guys to do me a favor. I want you guys to go out and have a wonderful day. I want you guys to just kind of like get into the mood to do some more speed duel stuff, because again, the release is OTS stores, LGSs are supposed to get them tomorrow. I don't know what the schedule is going to be for mine. It'll be anywhere between this Wednesday and this Friday. So we're going to take tomorrow off. We're going to pre-film something, probably the review of Spell Ruler as a set for the Time Wizard progression. And we should probably just look forward to seeing everything on Friday to start off the Speed Duel Bonanza. All right. So you guys enjoy yourselves, do that. And then, of course, if we've earned the like, comment, sub, just go ahead and get that knocked out. But you guys have an excellent day, and thanks for stopping by. See you next time.